Do you have a cause or a business that you want to let the world know about because you know that you can make a big difference? Well, my guest today, Dave VanHoose, is here to teach you how to do exactly that with speaking from the stage. Dave, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you very much.
So, I will tell you that public speaking is by far one of the scariest things for people. So, how do you manage that fear with your need to get your message out?
Well, I think a lot of people struggle with that. They say actually public speaking is like the #1 fear. People actually have more fear speaking than they do dying, right? Which doesn't make sense. But I think what happens is people create this fear. And what happens is in their mind, we all know what fear stands for: false events appearing real. And so they create this false event.
I like that.
And that's what causes the fear. And so if they would just get rid of expectations and stop worrying about their stuff and start serving and spending more time with the crowd, then the fear goes away.
I heard once from a really well-known speaker, if you get nervous, focus on service.
There you go. If you get nervous, focus on service. That's
Right.
great.
And so when we're out there and we're on the stage, what can that do for us as a leader or a messenger?
Well, what it can do, speaking can be a really empowering strategy for your business or sharing your message. What it does is it gets you in front of one to many people, qualified people that want to listen to your story and your message. It's a great way to build your brand. It's a great way to build your celebrity status and your credibility. And it's just a beautiful thing. Every business should have a speaker, a spokesperson sharing that message with the world.
So now, speaking of the world, you've traveled the world as a speaker. You've been written up in Inc. magazine. Tell me a little bit about your story.
Well, that's a great question. So my story, I grew up in Ann Arbor, Michigan, and I had a lot of challenging, let's just call them things that happened through my life. And I went to Eastern Michigan, moved down to Tampa, Florida, and I was a professional football trainer for about 6, 7, 8 years. Then from there, I had to reinvent myself. I had a serious back injury where I had to get a back surgery, a fusion in my spine. And that's kind of when I had to start my own business. And that's when I found out about speaking.
Tell me, the first time you went on stage, were you nervous?
Oh my gosh, I was scared to death. In fact, I'll never forget before I was speaking on stage what was running through my brain. I was hoping that something would stop the presentation, like a fire or a snowstorm or a hurricane or something, right? And that happens to a lot of public speakers, is that they get a lot of fear right before they go. But if you can change that fear into excitement, then you're going to have more fun. Just think about a roller coaster, you know? You have fear when you ride a roller coaster, right? Well, how can some people make that fun, right? And you just got to change that belief.
You take your hands off the handlebars.
Yes,
That's
of course.
how you make it fun.
Yes.
Well, I think that that's a good point, that when you want to get out there and you want to be known and you're starting your own business, it does require a leap of faith.
Yeah, I just think that, fear is going to come in no matter what you're going to try to do. As you start your own business, whatever you're going to do in life. And I think that's a sign to do that more.
Do that first.
Yeah. And so I think when people see a fear of public speaking or a fear of selling or whatever their fear is, they stop. But for me, I've changed that. It says, I need to do that, and I need to do that more. And then it helps you grow more and just grow as a person.
It's interesting because I think about, when I started in TV news, and I've been in TV news now for a long time. And the first couple years that I was in news, I always felt a little anxiety when the camera would come on. It's like it's a live shot. There's 500,000 people watching, and I think, I'm going to forget what I have to say. And then eventually, it just evaporates. That when we just get focused on what's happening in front of us in the story or the message or connecting with people, that really becomes secondary.
Well, I think also being prepared. If you're going to do a presentation, you should be prepared. You should know what you're going to talk about. And what I mean by that is, first of all, hopefully you're an expert in what you're talking about. You're just not winging it, something you've never done before. So that will really help empower you in knowing what you're going to say before you say it. A lot of people don't understand. A lot of speakers have a script, and they memorize the script, kind of like the acting business is very similar to the speaking business. And people have a script, and they rehearse these scripts. And so when they're up on stage, they know exactly what they're going to say before they say it.
So if you have a script, that actually helps you get over your anxiety and your fear and become not only a better speaker, but a better messenger?
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things that you should be doing if you're speaking from stage is really engineer your talk to get whatever you want out of it. You might want to get somebody into action. You just might want somebody to log onto your website, or if you have a book or a product or service. So you want to engineer your message so that at the end of it, that they have an outcome. And that's where you start with your presentation. And I think when you create your presentation, if you know it word for word, and a true professional speaker makes it sound like the very first time they've given that talk. Kind of like a singer. They've done their song 1,000 times, but you hear that singer, it sounds like the very first time that they've done it.
Absolutely. Dave VanHoose, speaker trainer, founder of Speaking Empire, thank you so much for being here with your tips.
Thank you very much.